Hello, and welcome back to XP Waste, where I actually think the lava beast from Volcanic Mine would make a good pet. I'm Michael.
And I am Oxie. If you're new here, welcome. We talk about old school RuneScape. I don't know why, after what is now 37 weeks, I'm still awkward when describing to new people what we do on this show. But we talk about old school RuneScape. We kind of have a focus on mid to late game as opposed to end game. I don't know why. So I looked over at Michael on the camera as though he was in here IRL. He's not. I should just keep looking at the camera. Anyways, tangents aside, we talk about old school RuneScape. If you're not new here, buckle up, baby. You're in for it today. I don't know why, but it's part of the fun of XP Waste.
Yeah. How was your week?
My week was pretty good. I was thinking about it on the way home. I always will criticize myself before I'll compliment myself, but I'm obviously over the years have gotten a lot better at like recognizing, okay, everything is good. It's been a very net positive week. I'm extremely pissed off at my performance in the Inferno, but overall, it's been a pretty good week.
Yeah.
I don't know why, I got a wild hair in my ass this morning. I got the Elite Combat Achievement for Vedion KC done. I did 34 Vedion, and 33 of those kills went uninterrupted. It was the last kill. It was the last kill. And these guys came in like dog shit gear.
Yeah.
And they TB'd and they snared, and I was typing, I'm like, KC Vedion, fellas, come on. Like, I need one more, like, off for like 2 seconds, because I had nothing in my looting bag. And they just outnumbered me. You're not going to out-eat 4 AGSs. So I'm like...
They just sent it?
Yeah, I'm like...
I mean, like, let me get the kill, and then you can kill me. Like,
literally, I think I was in VC. I'm like, enjoy dick. Like, I had like less than 200 charges on my mace. I had some Mortmire fungus in my looting bag, because turns out that's a drop from Vedion. And then everything else was just like supply drops. So like, have fun, enjoy nothing.
Yeah, if you're the PKers who got Oxie this morning, hello and welcome. Enjoy that nothing.
Yeah, I hope you really enjoy it, but I'm struggling in the Inferno a lot, which is to be expected, as it is the single hardest piece of content in the game. But it's frustrating. I keep anti-flicking myself, so I'm gonna try to explain this, because if you can explain it, you understand it. So it's gonna be a scuffed explanation, but hear me out with this. So old OSRS, the tick system, we've talked about it before. Every monster attacks on a different tick cycle, and you have to one tick flick, which is alternate between mage and range every 0.6 seconds. So like doot, 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 back and forth. To protect yourself from some attacks if you off tick them, which means monsters are attacking on a different tick. Now, the hard thing that I'm struggling with is the Rangers, which hit decently hard, and the Blobs, which attack on a 6 tick cycle. Every 3 ticks, they read your overhead, and then the 3 ticks after that, they attack with the opposite. So it's like 1, 2, 3, they read Prey Mage. 4, 5, 6, they attack with range.
Interesting.
And then I think the Rangers attack every like 4 ticks, maybe. I think the Rangers 4 tick. I can't confirm that. Somebody who knows the Inferno better than me. So pretty much what you have to do is range, mage, range, mage, range, mage, range, mage, in about that rhythm to keep fully protected when you have a Ranger and a Blob stacked on top of one another attacking you at the same time. It's an easy concept on paper, but I keep anti-flicking, which means if I'm being attacked, range, mage, I'm praying mage, range, range. And I don't know how I keep doing that to myself. And it's super infuriating. I'm not using the metronome plugin because Jesse, our resident Inferno master, has said that... Kills. Yes, 2 fast kills. Has said that when you turn the prayer on, it makes a sound when you hear the sound, switch to the next prayer. And that's the rhythmic do, do, do.
Okay, so you could do you get the metronome without the metronome.
Yes, and even now, I feel like I have I have a bit better of an understanding of what 100 ticks per minute means. And like, yes, obviously I know what it means, but as far as like feeling it, understanding it, being able to recite the rhythm. TLDR, the Inferno's really freaking hard, and I knew it was going to be hard, and I'm just frustrated that I've done flicking before in the Inferno, but for the last like 3 runs I've been on, I just anti-flick and mess up. I don't know why. So I'm frustrated at that. Overall, though, net positive week. How about you, Michael? How's your week been?
It's also been a good week. I started solo dad week like a week ago today. And so it's been an eye-opening experience, to say the least, of like what single parents do out in the world and stay-at-home moms and dads. So yeah, it's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Like, I imagined life being, I'm just going to play RuneScape all day. I'm just going to have time to myself all day. But like, no, not at all what I thought it would be. It's not a bad way at all. No, it's rewarding and it's good. But my expectations are way off. But also a net positive week, I think, for me. I'm 92 mining, so I could do amethyst if I want to, but I want to get the expert mining gloves. So I've been power mining iron. I think I'm actually going to go from 92 to 93 just power mining iron, because it's like one of the best ways to get the unidentified fragments or whatever they're called.
Do you not get them from mining amethyst?
You do, but I think it's slower. I'll have to look into it. I have 10 right now, and you need 240. So it's not like power mining iron is not bad. Like, you get in a rhythm, and I set my if I'm playing on the computer, I don't even have to shift drop, because there's a plugin called custom left click dropper.
That sounds cheaty, but also awesome.
I mean, it's in the plugin hub. Everything in there is approved.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't speak on whether or not you'll get in trouble for it, but they do say everything here has been reviewed and it passes. So essentially what that means is you type in the item's name into the plugin, and anytime you click something with that name, it's a left click drop. I think it somehow uses like a shift drop mechanic.
Oh,
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
That's kind of awesome. You might need to show me that plugin, because that could be sweet for AFKing.
It would make AFK really nice, and it would make 3 tick or 2 whatever tick fishing, where you have to drop stuff.
Holy shit, that could make 3 ticking drop broken, dude.
Yeah. So I think that's what people mainly use it for.
I'm surprised that plugin is still in the game at that point.
It might be flying under the radar, so who knows?
Sorry, if you developed that plugin and you've been keeping it a secret from Jagex and we just doxed you, we apologize. But
sorry about
that's nice. It's one of those like, it seems too good to be true type things. But
yeah, I mean, the shift drop is a thing. So you can automatically, like, you can left click drop a whole inventory. You just have to hold shift. So I don't really see what the difference is. That being said, I could be shift dropping stuff. It's not a big deal if that plugin goes away.
Yeah, but it's not a game changer. Like, I don't imagine it's increasing your XP exponentially.
It's really not. I mean, maybe for 3 ticking it might, but iron it's not.
If anything, it's just making it marginally more AFK.
Yeah,
that's what I think is friggin' awesome about it. But
I can have one hand up behind the head and just play with the mouse and not have to reach up and click the keyboard to shift drop.
Yeah, just like sit back like this. Absolutely, get. I'm talking like flow ride a low.
Yeah.
Apple bottom jeans type shit. Low in your chair.
Yeah,
leaned all the way back.
Other hand has your phone and you're on TikTok.
vibing at that point. Bro, you know what I've been playing on my phone? And yes, for the observant of you on Spotify and YouTube, I am wearing a button-up dad shirt with pajama pants.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've been playing that Melvor Idle game that they've talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I got bored over the weekend, and I'm like, no, it was at work. And I was like, what's that game they talk about? Like the weird whatever it is.
Text-based RuneScape or something?
Yeah, it's like, it's literally Idlescape. It
really is.
It's fun. I just mined 787 iron, and I got some emeralds and topaz and diamonds with that.
My brother plays that game. It kind of got him back into actual RuneScape because he can play that while he's at work, and I'm like, dude, you can play mobile, like actual RuneScape on mobile. He's like, oh, okay.
The best part is, I will say the best part about this is you can play it. It's like I assign my character to mine. It's almost like the rune bot on Discord.
Yeah.
Where I just have my character mining iron right now for steel bars to get an upgrade. See how I'm already going through the motions of like do this, to do this, to do this. RuneScape, baby. You can play that in the background while playing RuneScape on your phone.
Oh my gosh.
Like it stays open.
You can play RuneScape while you play RuneScape.
Bro, I went to bed the other night. I mined pure essence. I woke up to like 19,000 pure essence in my bank. Wow. Rune crafting is surprisingly rewarding on Melvor Idle. It's really weird. Rune crafting is great. Mining is super easy. Smithing isn't too bad. Fire making sucks balls. But so like all of the skills that we hate in OSRS are actually it's flipped.
It's like if you were like botting those skills in RuneScape, it would be super relaxing, but dude, all the ones were the click intensive.
Agility is actually super fun. Agility, so really? you have to like buy obstacles with GP and have certain agility levels to buy them. So you have to do other skills to make money. And then you buy the obstacles and your character will like run them in a row, I think. I only have the one obstacle unlocked because I'm a poor boy, but like it just over and over. It takes like 3 seconds. You come back. I got 1 to 18 agility in literally 20 minutes. I'm like, this is awesome. This is only the first tier of obstacle. Yeah. I will say Melvor Idle is fun. We're not sponsored. We're not sponsored. It would be awesome if we were. It really would be awesome if we were.
Welcome back to XP Waste, a Melvor Idle podcast.
Bro, at that point, we're sponsored by Jagex. We are sponsored by Jagex at that point.
Does Jagex make Melvor Idle?
So I think Jagex either bought it or finally endorsed it because it is like cut and copy RuneScape.
Yeah. You think like a cease and desist would be in order, but
honest to God, that's the other direction this goes. Either it's a cease and desist, or Jagex is just like, it's ours now. Awesome. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking with that. Overall, it's a fun game. So yeah, dude, you could easily recline with that plugin.
Yes, I think my brother got 99 mining already on Melvor Idle. I'm like, what are the XP rates?
They're dog shit, but
it shouldn't be that good.
They're not that good. They're actually the same XP in OSRS. So pure essence is 5 XP, iron ore is like 14 XP, but it's a never log.
Oh,
it's literally like if you're botting, never logging, and everything. It's like endless harvest. So everything goes directly to your bank.
Gotcha.
So I think I've mined upwards of like 7,000 iron ore today. And I am just flying through. I've had the game for less than a week. I'm flying through some of these levels. I've already got yew trees. I've already got mithril ore. I'm knocking on the door of adamant ore for mining. So when you can never log from like 11 p.m. to 10 a.m.
Yeah. Can you do two things at once? Like, can you do mining and wood cutting?
Nope. You can only do one thing at a time. So it's the same grindiness of RuneScape in that respect, where doing one thing for another, the only thing you can do passively is farming. That's the only thing you can passively do is farming.
Okay.
which is still a little weird. I don't love farming in this game either. So, sorry,
you don't
all
like
my
farming in real RuneScape.
I don't really like farming unless I have a teleport to every single tree patch. I don't do farming. Ask the boys on my group Ironman team. I'm not the farmer.
Neither am I.
No.
TMD, we love you for that.
We really do.
He asked me for the rune sim so that he could kill Spory. Like, you're already killing Spory. I love that.
I think, why is my farming level as high as this? Oh, because I did Fairy Tale. That's why.
Oh, did you do part 2?
No. I started part 2 for the fairy rings.
Wait, what is your farming level?
It's like 24, 25. Like, it's not good.
Okay.
But all of my farm, I have not grown anything. I have raked a patch maybe once. Yeah.
Mine's 20. I haven't grown a single thing.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you, XP Wasters, you can get pretty good early game farming out of the way by just doing quests. I think I did the Recipe for Disaster Goblin quest.
Yes, the goblins give farming too. Yeah.
And then I did Fairy Tale Part 1 with 9 farming. That was hard because the boss that you have to fight is like your attack, like your max hit is based on your farming level. So I was hitting 2s. So it's not terrible.
I did that with overhead prayers, and I was talking to Jamie about it earlier in the mentoring chat. Once you start to learn the Inferno, and you spend like 2.5 hours one tick flicking monsters, the rest of the game seems like a joke. Like, oh, no. I went to Grotesque Guardians and was one tick flicking range and melee for Dusk and Dawn. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Or I was trying to, rather. I'm like, it's gross. I'm like, why am I doing this? Just can't melee and kill Dawn. Like, why am I doing this? But because I know how to lazy flick, I just lazy flicked my way through the Tango Root fight. And just, you'll never believe this, sat there like this.
Reclined. That's awesome.
Yeah, so overheads are fantastic on a group Ironman.
That's what I'm working on as we speak. I didn't mention that, but I'm killing blue dragons right now. I'm gonna be a nice guy, and I think I'm gonna get enough from Mel to get overheads as well, because I think we're the last 2.
I was gonna say, yeah, fuck you, TMD.
Oh, TMD doesn't have overheads? Let me look. He's 37.
He's got protect from range. He'll be fine. He can do.
Oh, no.
He can almost do Zulrah with that. It's fine.
Well, I'm staying here till 55 magic. So however many bones that nets me is how many are going to be in group storage.
So here's the deal. You take those bones and you get 43 prayer yourself. Yes. And whatever's left over you put in group storage.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
And we'll just divide them equally between Mel and...
You can be altruistic, but don't be that altruistic.
Oh, to say like I'm gonna grind out everybody's 43. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's exactly why I only got 2 rune scimitars, because I was like, fuck this. I don't want to get 5.
Me and TMD have been passing it back and forth. So if you did end up getting more, then
mine was for me. I brought Oxie with me when I went, and I just sat there in my full range gear. And the minute somebody logged in, I don't care who they were, started blow piping the Zamrock Warrior. I was being a dick. I was absolutely, it was like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, I got the spot locked down. I'm getting my rune sim tonight. But that was a while ago. So
when you say you brought Oxie, it sounds like you're referring to yourself in the third person, but you just mean your main account.
I do mean my main account. Yeah. So yeah, I brought the main. I don't refer to myself in the third person very often because that's pretty weird.
It's like you get a split personality whenever you play RuneScape. You're like, I'm not Oxie anymore, and I brought him with me. But no, he means his main account.
Yes, I do mean my main account. So speaking of main account this week, because I have literally no updates in the group Ironman, I have not done anything. What are we talking about this week, Michael?
So some things happened. As they do.
A lot happened. A lot happened this week.
That's an understatement, I guess. So we got a blog about the economy, some sort of update. We'll get into that. And then I think it was actually today.
Yeah.
As of recording, so Monday.
almost 12 hours ago exactly.
Yeah, so as of today, recording date, we have new Nex Rewards. Reworked based on player feedback. I guess the tests from the testing world went well. So we can get into that a little bit later. We'll kind of give you a buttery smooth transition.
I was just about to say, Michael and I have already planned our buttery smooth transition from one topic to another, so we'll get there. Hell yeah.
Yes. So that's a little sneak peek into what we're going to talk about. But getting into the first part, so the economy is about to get a boost, I think. Hopefully. Not about to, because actually, if you watched the modcast, they actually don't have a date. They're kind of like, hey, this is just day one of what's to come, and we don't have a date for when these changes will go in effect. But we talked about this. So if you guys are caught up on all the episodes up until this point, I mentioned this in the episode where we talked about the nerfs and what was happening with the economy, like our original economy episode. And I talked about the fact that they wanted to do like an item sync via the GE, where they would just buy items off of the GE from players and then delete them. What I didn't realize is that would come via a tax. So that's
double.
I don't know how to feel about that.
It's a gold sink. It's a gold sink and it's an item sink.
Yes.
I don't know how to thoughts. How you feeling?
Okay, so the tax is on the sale, not on the person buying it, which I think is interesting because you're getting 2% as of the time of recording. All is subject to change. As of the time of recording, you're getting 2% less value for your item. That 2% is then getting transferred into a coffer, which Jagex will use to buy items back from players and then delete them, which is great. I absolutely am for this. I think that the items that they've announced have already gone up, which is kind of an interesting thing where, there was a demand for these. It just wasn't in the way that people thought. My thinking is it's good for the economy at this point. And I watched poor Mod Ash. I watched the modcast with Sarni and Mod Ash, and he was the only JMod that showed up, and he has no hands in the pot as far as what's going on with the economy and all of the reworks. So he's just like, yeah, I'm sure the devs that are working on it have plans for this, when he's answering all the questions that people are like,
yeah,
desperate to know. So we don't know a ton besides what's in the blog. But again, I think it's good. Overall, tax, okay. Item sync, good.
I've been living for the memes of like British game company wants to introduce a tax, and all the American players are like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Like, I have been living for those memes.
Yes. It is really good.
First of all, I need to point out the fact that I recently had a conversation with my father about XP waste, because he said, what do you guys talk about? Like, don't you eventually run out of topics? Like, it's a video game. And I say, yes, sometimes we do. And that's how we end up talking about like the origin story for our clan for the infamous episode 36. That's going to be on Patreon because we had issues with it. Sometimes we talk about E3. But this week we're talking about the economy. And he's like, I thought you were talking about the economy. I went on this whole rant about how like Jagex hired game economists to look into the economy, because game economy is actually a decent thing to study, because pretty much video game economy can simulate what real life economy could be without taxes and inflation. Right? Like there's no real deflation, there's no real inflation. There's a little bit of it, right? Look at the difference between RS3 and OSRS. But there's no taxes, and that's a bigger cause of why everything is so expensive. So study it and adjust taxes in real life, or suggest things for taxes in real life to prevent such horrible inflation and deflation from happening. Cool. I'm explaining this to my dad, and he's like, in a video game? I'm like, yeah. And I told him, I said, keep in mind, I am not sure at 25 years old how to write a check to somebody, how to physically fill out a check. But I'm about to have an in-depth conversation about how taxes, tax percentage, item sinks, and people buying items just to get rid of them are going to help stimulate the economy long term. He's like, he said, okay. And he pulled out his checkbook and he went, so this is where you put the memo line.
Oh my gosh.
And then I like have my stuff ready to go home. I'm like, I guess I asked for this. Number one. Number two, I like the tax the way it is proposed. People seem pissed at 2%. Which, here's my question with that. If you get a Scythe of Vitur on a free-for-all raid on 416, 416 FFA, you go from we do raids, whatever. You get a Scythe, it's yours. 450 mil, easy. You just made 450 mil. Are you really going to complain about the 9 mil that went away for the 2% tax? If it means less items are going to be in the game and your bank value is going to go up? That's my big gripe with the 2% tax. If it were a 10% tax, that's a lot. And I understand why they're doing it. I understand why they're doing it for the seller as well, because like if you're selling any of these items on the Grand Exchange, other than a dark bow, which even then requires 90 Slayer, all of these items that they're proposing, spectral shields, nightmare staves, god swords, a lot of Slayer monster drop items. Probably the lowest tier thing on this list is the toxic blowpipe. If you're in a position to get and sell toxic blowpipes, you're probably not going to miss the 500k that you lose off it. Right?
Well, that's, I mean, that's at its current price.
2% would be, you figure 2% would be about 400k off a toxic blowpipe.
What are they right now? 2 mil?
Something like that, 2-3 mil. So,
the calculator on my watch.
It's a little bit of a bigger hit on lower priced items, for sure.
Yeah, it's 40k, I think.
40k? 400k. Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes way more sense. So yeah, it's a bit of a bigger hit on some lower priced items, right? Because like 2 or 400k from 2 mil sounds like a lot, but 9 mil from 450 mil doesn't. Other than the toxic blowpipe, if you're in a position to sell any of these items, to get them as drops and to sell them, you're probably going to be okay with 2% less money. I think the reason they're not taxing the buyers, and they address this a little bit, is because that could be your first toxic blowpipe that you're buying.
Yeah.
And then in addition to having to like scrounge up 2 mil, you also have to scrounge up blowpipe charges, darts, scales, all this other shit to go with it. And then you got to put an extra 2% on top of that, which, like, all right, 400k for me, like I said, I say it every week. Give me 20 lucky minutes at Venenatis. 400k is easy. I need one kill at Venenatis to make 400k. One good kill can make me 400 to a mil, something like that.
So it's not money you're missing.
It's not money I am missing. When I was like saving for a toxic blowpipe, 400k was days worth of work.
Yeah.
Like that shit took forever to make that kind of money.
And that's just money, like in the player's mind, that's just money that's going to go away. So it's not even like you're getting you're not even getting 400k more value from your item for putting that money in.
Yeah, it's as a buyer, I think it's a larger barrier to entry.
Yes.
Now, if you're a main account who's trying to learn how to solo chambers and you're like, damn, I really need an arcane, like an extra 2% on an arcane spirit shield when you probably have a 2 bill bank, probably not the end of the world. As well as a buyer, I think this is more aimed at the mid to low level players looking to buy things. So I like that it's on the selling side.
Well, there's a caveat to that, because they did say that the tax could be adjusted, removed altogether based on the item. Yeah. So if it is, and they've already talked about this, like they're not going to tax your everyday noob items. So if you are needing, and this isn't even if you're needing it, if you're selling your spade, you're going to get your full money's worth from that.
Yeah.
It's only the bigger ticket items that are going to be taxed, and it's on a basis of which they'll probably be monitoring it to say, well, are these even being sold on the GE now? Mm-hmm. Because another sort of twist to all of this is like this could just initiate a bunch of off GE trading, and we're gonna see World 302 back in order, where it's just player to player trades to avoid that 45 mil or whatever it would be, or whatever the tax rate is
Yeah.
on your high ticket items for selling it. And maybe, players make like a 1% tax. And it's just an agreed upon thing where it's like, well, I'm just going to add 1% value. You're still going to get your item, but, I want to make a little bit more. So,
which I realize I've misspoke there. The items I was looking at are the items they're planning to buy from the item sink, not the items that they are taxing. They're taxing everything. Michael's correct. They're going to be taxing most items. So the things you're selling, you get a Snapdragon seed. It's 38K. What's 2% of 38K? 600 GP maybe?
It's negligible.
It doesn't make
you're not going to miss it on the smaller
difference.
trades. Yeah, you're not going to miss it on the smaller trades.
Like
it's not even going to be noticeable.
Yeah, it's not fun. I don't love the idea, but at the same time, stop bitching about it. I don't know. I'm fine with the tax as it is.
So this does affect one very, I wouldn't call it niche. It's actually a pretty large part of the game, and that is merching. I don't know how this is going to affect people who like solely make their money based on the fluctuation of price. Because if now, say you bought Third Age, like, okay, I'll use this as an example. I bought Third Age the other day for our costume contest, and I was able to actually make 4 mil, which was nice. So I bought it for 60 mil, and then I turned around and sold it for 64 mil. The margin on that was actually really good. It doesn't always happen like that. Usually you have like a couple 100K margin, and then you do that over and over and over, and therefore you're making profit per hour. So I don't know how the 2% on the sale is now going to be like, does this make item flipping like obsolete? Because now you could only be making a 2% profit. You could only be making a 1% profit per transaction. Now you have to make 2% plus profit. I don't know. It just kind of sucks.
I understand nothing about merching, so I have literally no points to make for that. I don't know how to flip on the Grand Exchange.
Okay, so
I get the idea.
What flipping is.
Okay, I know what flipping is. I get the idea of flipping. It's just like saying I get the idea of how to do a no pillar Inferno or a solo Theater of Blood. I have an understanding of what you're supposed to do, but I can't do it.
Well, I mean, even with a basic understanding,
I don't understand it well enough to do it. If that makes
even
sense.
With a basic understanding, because all I have is a basic understanding. I've never tried to flip or merch for profit, but even with just a basic understanding, I would say you at least know that it sucks. That I think that there's a lot of speculation because again we don't know much, but it's likely going to make merching more difficult, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I imagine it would.
So yeah, like I said, your profit could have been 2%, less than that. You'd be making pennies on the dollar, and you do that enough, and it's profit. But now they just took your profit.
You make it sound like these poor merchers are out here struggling to get by spare change. Spare change, man.
They could. I mean, you have to put in an offer, right? And then you have to wait set amount of hours for that total thing to buy. And then you hope that by the time that you've waited this whole time, that now it's still profitable. I think that one thing that could maybe change the game on this is if they taxed the buyer and the seller at a lower rate, like 0.5% or 0.2% tax, something so negligible that it's not going to make a big impact on the buyer or the seller.
Then what's the point of having a tax?
Over time, money would just be coming in. Because so much money gets traded on the GE that Jagex could find themselves with more money than they know what to do with. arguably maybe a good thing that happens because the duel arena is going away, and the duel arena tax was extortionate in bringing money in. Because I think there was like a 0.5% tax on smaller stakes, right? And then it got all the way up to a 10%. I don't know. I don't stake. But they kind of have to replace it with something. And this could be that. We don't know enough to make a whole lot of points or a whole lot of sense, other than the fact that, like, get ready for it. If you have some of those items on the list of the ones that are getting deleted, now may be the time to sell when it's kind of hyped up. That being said, though, this is not financial advice. That being said, the fact that they're getting deleted in this item sync could also make the price go up. So it's a gamble either way.
I think it will make the price go up. I think a tax on the seller is good. I think flipping is probably going to be affected in some way. But I think Jagex having more money to buy and stabilize item prices is better than not having it exist, right? Imagine if Jagex had a wealth of money that they used from this. Imagine this tax got implemented in 2019. And then we hit the same content spell that we did, or the dry spell we did, where we get Nightmare of Ashihama and then literally nothing until Fazani's Night.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened. We got nothing. That's why prices plummeted so much, because we didn't have anything new to do, right? We didn't have anything. There was no incentive to do any other content in the game. Imagine they have this tax, and they have billions and billions and trillions of GP saved up. And now you're looking at a Twisted Bow that's over 1 bill, a Dragon Warhammer that's back above 50 mil. You're looking at a Dragon Hunter Lance that's back up at 80. You're looking at Abyssal Whips at 5, Blowpipes at 6. You know, Bandos at 20 mil a pop. Bando shot up today, we'll talk about it, but like you're talking Hydra Claws back at 90 mil a piece. Like,
yeah,
you're keeping the economy stabilized for a longer period of time and preventing the drastic drop that we have if they had this system in place. And I think that's going to be beneficial to get faster. Right? I think a 2% tax is incredibly fair. They did bring up the point of like, how the hell do you do a 2% tax on an item like a Fire Rune that's like 5 GP a piece? And that's how they talked about they might not make that a thing.
Yeah.
But they also discussed that there's a possibility that bulk orders begin to get taxed as well. So like 1 Fire Rune is not going to be taxed. 50,000 Fire Runes might get taxed.
Yeah, because at that point you can justify 2% of the value that you're selling those Fire Runes.
Yeah, which I think at that point, 5% at 50,000 at 5 GP a piece, 2% would be what, 5K?
You're doing math, and that's we don't do math on this.
But that's my point, right? Like, you only, if it's a 2% tax, I don't know if I'm doing math correctly. Let's say you sell an item for 1 mil, right? 2% of that is what, 2K?
50,000 GP times 5 is 250K times 2%. That's 5K. Yeah. So it's 5K out of 250K.
Well, let's use 1 mil as an example, right? 1 mil, it's what, 20K, right? I think it's 20K for a 2% tax. Because, yeah, that would make sense. So 20K at a time, 20K for every millions of GP traded. You're trying to buy a Twisted Bow at a 2% tax. If I told you, Michael, you're going to make 20K a day and I expect you to have a Twisted Bow soon, that's going to take friggin' forever. Now, if you drop that down to 0.2% or 0.5% instead of the 2%, so now even if it's 0.5, so if you're talking, all right, instead of making 20K a day, here's 5K a day.
Yeah.
Get me a Twisted Bow. It's just going to take a lot longer. So I think having this store build up a little quicker. Now, granted, there's going to be trillions of GP traded a day. The minute this tax gets implemented, I imagine it takes a month and the economy begins to rise a little bit. Is it going to go back to the 2018 time? Absolutely not. I don't think we're going to see a 1.6 bill harmonized orb anymore. But I think it'll start to steadily increase again, which is what players want.
Unless there's like a really nice use for it. Because that's also a factor. It's not only supply and demand, but is it useful?
Yeah.
To be able to justify the price. So like kind of a good segue, if you ask me, into what is useful after this next update.
Yeah. I mean, they talked about gold sinks. The only gold sinks that I think are cool is the fact that you can now buy more bank space. It's going to be a big flex, but that's about it. I don't know.
888 mil, by the way, to get the max.
That's going to be awesome, dude.
I don't even need. Okay. I'm going to struggle to even consider spending. I think they said it's like 37 mil to get the lowest tier of bank space. I don't even need the 816 I have now on my main account.
I do.
That might be different on my Ironman, but like, unless I'm going to amass a large collection log of items in my bank, like a loot tab or a clue scroll tab, then I might. But like, I fill my bank with bank fillers right now to be able to do content like Motherlode Mine. So to say I need 1,000 bank spaces, it's just going to be more bank fillers I have to clear. So, but you said you would use it?
I would use it. I think this is a goal. Like when it comes out, if it comes out at the price it comes out at, I would probably buy up to like 920, maybe 960 bank spaces. Mm-hmm. Spend anywhere from 8 to 20 mil on it total. As far as the 500 mil upgrade and spending the whole 888 mil, that's like a post max goal. That'd be super fun. Be like Infernal Max Cape, Zuck Slayer helmet, 1160 bank spaces, going to complete the collection log, 46 out of 48 pets or whatever. Like, yeah, that's fun. That's just a fun completionist goal. Yeah. That's about all I wanted to say about that. But yeah, buttery smooth transition. So we've talked about item sinks, and they've released a new item sink literally like 12 hours ago. What time did this blog post come out? Just give me an exact time. About 12 hours ago.
Which is hot off the press, people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back and forth to this guy at Blue Dragons. So if I seem a little distracted, he's killing the dragon that I need to kill, and I just asked him to kindly not do that. He said, okay. So
bring your main account over. Have it use the agility shortcut. Dragon Claw spec it out.
There is enough dragons here that we can share.
Tell him to sit.
I have to safe spot these.
Shing, 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 shing. Sit.
Sit, rat.
Get out. That's literally what I would do.
Toxic.
I'm so toxic with my Iron Man, dude. I'll bring Oxie anywhere to piss off other Iron Men who get in my way.
Terrible.
Dragon Claw specking sandcrafts.
There's enough sandcrafts to go around, buddy boy.
This is my spot, bitch. Go stand somewhere else. Shing, 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 shing.
Yeah, because they're in multi, so you can just hop on other people's crabs. Oxie, what happened with this new update today? Not update, the new blog. Tell us about it.
The new blog post that came out. Remember a couple weeks ago we talked about Virtus armor and how both Michael and I were really excited about it? Well, Michael and I spent a total of 0 hours in the beta worlds testing out Virtus armor.
How do you know I didn't do it? I didn't, but how did you know?
That's how I knew.
Okay.
But they apparently received a lot of good feedback. But there was also enough critical feedback for Virtus that they made a change. And it's a pretty big change. They've swapped Virtus for Torva armor. For RS3 players shuddered when they read this blog that Torva was coming to OSRS. Off the bat, it does not have the same HP boosting effect as it does in RS3. It's not the same thing. However, Torva is is it tier 80? I don't know if it's tier 80 or what.
Tier 80. Well, the crossbow is. I don't know if...
Yeah, but I don't know about the armor. The armor is better than Bando's. in literally every sense of the word. Offensively, defensively, it has a higher strength bonus. It has a +2 strength bonus for the plate body and the plate legs, and then the Torva full helm has a +2 strength bonus over the face guard. The only difference is it has 2 less prayer bonus, but all these items have a prayer bonus as well, which Bandos has as well. So this armor set, it's gonna be gross. We did the math. We did the math earlier. It was like me, TMD, Escape, and Immortal. I think you were off with the boy. They were running like DPS calcs, and they're like, all right, so technically, if you calculate overloads correctly, full Torva with all your like other melee gear, right? Infernal Cape, Torture, Ferocious Gloves, all like the secondary melee gear.
Yeah.
Full
Max,
Torva.
best in spot.
Full Torva with a Lance and a Vernic is going to be more powerful than the current meta, which is Face Guard, BCP, Ancestral Legs with a Lance and an Avernic for melee Ohm. For the melee hand of Ohm. I think in a solo was the scaling they did for it.
Okay.
So then we also talked, what about Inquisitor? I know we talked about this a little bit before the podcast started, but in the blog post, they mention how they're going to keep Bandos relevant. And they mention that the defensive bonuses on Torva are less than Justiciar, such that Justiciar keeps its niche. But what about Inquisitor? The third best in slot they just completely neglected to talk about. Apparently, Inquisitor can go fuck itself. Because we nerded out hard this morning, and we're running calculations and talking like theory crafting and all that.
Yeah.
We think full Torva with a Scython Crush is going to be more powerful than full Inquisitor with a Scython Crush because of the strength bonus. And strength bonus means more DPS, and DPS is king in RuneScape. Okay. We pretty much, other than full Inquisitors with a mace at like CM Tecton, or maybe if you want to get real sweaty with it, full Inquisitors to land Dragon Warhammer specs. Other than that, the counterpoint to that is if Inquisitors goes down, in theory, less people will do Nightmare, which could bring the price of the Inquisitor's mace and the Harmonized Orb up a little bit. Again, not talking
those have
about
uses, right?
Yes, but they're also still pretty niche. Like, I think the Inquisitor's mace is far and away the best in slot one-handed crush weapon.
Yeah.
And the orbs have their purpose, of course. We talked about earlier that the Nightmare or Harmonized Nightmare Staff should be able to auto cast Ancient Magic as well. And that would bring the price up, but that's neither here nor there.
So you said a lot of things.
I could tell that you were getting a little like, what's he talking about? So I just wanted to hurry up and get it done. And then we can talk about why it's important.
I want to advocate for our mid-game players.
We'll get there. We got to talk endgame for a minute because we got a whole thing planned out. How we're going to talk, how this relates to the mid-game. Why we mentioned it's an item sink, right? They don't want to completely make Bandos irrelevant. So the Torva armor will drop in a broken state. A lot how like Barrow's items break. It will be tradable, but you'll be able to break down components of Bandos armor and then use that to smith to create Torva. So with 90 smithing, you could take a Bandos chestplate, smelt it down into 3 components, and then take your Bandos tassets and smelt those down into 2 components, and then use those 5 components to create the helmet, the plate body, and the plate legs for Torva. So
solid.
Bandos tassets, when I woke up this morning, were 14 mil. When the blog post came out, they were 28 mil. It was like 5 hours apart. Now they've settled at around 24 mil. Or a Bandos chestplate at 24 mil. For the first time possibly ever right now, a BCP is 100k more than tassets.
Wow.
Because it offers more components for Torva armor. Torva armor...
components per GP, you got to think, if they're the same price, get them now while they're hot.
If you're an endgame player, get them now.
Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to, people, is like, we're going to be calculating what the price of a component is, and that's going to dictate the price of bandos. Because I think at this point now, BCP will always, it's gonna fluctuate to BCP's going to be worth more than tacits.
Right now it's looking like components are probably going to stabilize at around, if I had to do the calculation strictly based off today, about 8 mil a piece.
Wow.
For tacits, but which doesn't make sense because tacits are 24, BCP is also 24. So 8 mil a piece for BCP, but somehow 12 mil a piece for tacits. I don't know. I'm sure there's another reason that goes into that, which I'm sure we'll get into, to deal with a certain untradeable item that costs literally nothing to get. So there's definitely elements that go into that. This is gonna be disgusting. Torva armor is going to cost like $6 bill for the full set day of release.
Yep.
I promise you, the first few pieces of Torva that come into the game, all max cash. I have heard through the grapevine, a friend of a friend of a friend who knows a friend who knows a JMod, that Nex is not going to work the same way other God Wars dungeon drops work. Okay. So normally, God Wars dungeon is garbage unless you get an item. Sarah, pretty certain you lose money at Sarah.
Probably.
Unless you get an item. So, Nex is apparently going to work a little bit different. From what I've heard, it's going to be about Hydra money per player.
Wow.
So if you got a 5-man team, you're looking at about 100k per kill on average from Nex. But I also imagine that the drop rates are going to be lower. I've heard somewhere between, it's going to be higher than normal God War. So it's not going to be like 1 in 128 for a piece of armor.
Uh-huh.
But it's going to be lower than like Fazani's Nightmare, where it's like 1 in 1,000. So it's going to fall somewhere in between. I would imagine probably somewhere between the 1 in 500, 1 in 600 range for a piece. It's going to be disgusting how much this is going to be. It's going to be insanely expensive. So, how does this relate to a majority of our listener base? We've mentioned it before, that most of you guys are mid-game.
Yep.
I am almost positive none of you, including Michael and I, are going to be able to afford full Torva the day it comes out.
No. So, I mean, maybe somebody. We can't say none of you, but do you want to? That's the question I have for you.
Yeah.
If you have $6 bill, why are you spending max cash on an item that's going to go down?
To say you have it on the first day, obviously.
Oh, wow. First one in the game. The skinny legs and the top that looks like it's a Verox top 4.
They really do got to do some work to make Torva armor not look like achievement diary gear on steroids. Yeah. They really do got to do something to it. Unless that's what it looked like in RS3. Hi, you're probably listening to us talk about how Torva armor looked, and then we went to the BRB screen. That's because somebody, who shall remain nameless, ran out of recording space mid-episode, and somebody who, once again, we're not going to point any fingers, lost about 6 minutes worth of footage as we started to talk about how it's going to affect the mid-game players. So whoever this person is will be punished, but we're not sure who it is because we're not pointing any fingers. So, Michael, how does a set of armor that is just the new best thing for everything and going to be disgustingly expensive, how is that going to affect somebody with base 75 stats, 1526 total level? What does that matter to them?
Right. So before today, your goal might have been, hey, I'm going to do some PVM. I'm going to go to Bandos. I'm going to get my best in slot. Because up until this point, Bandos was the end-all be-all for melee armor. If you had Inquisitors, there was a niche. Just this year had its niche. But Bandos for strength was the best. So now Torva's is here. And usually when a new best in slot comes out, that makes the old best in slot just dead content. And it usually will plummet to where it's like, oh, if you want to use it, you can. Kind of like how Barrows is. It's kind of like a good in between. But if you had Barrows, 12, 15 years ago, Guthan's was 10 mil for the set. So that's not the case, unfortunately. The case now is going to be Bandos is still going to be relatively expensive. How expensive, we don't know. We kind of theorized that we're going to be basing it off of like price per component versus like an overall steady price. It could go down to like 2 mil per component, and that would make your Bandos roughly 6 mil or 4 mil. Unlikely is what I'm trying to say. There's alternatives. There is a light at the end of the tunnel here. Like, there are going to be alternatives for you, since we theorize that Bandos is still going to be pretty expensive. Like, people are still going to be killing Bandos. People are still going to be doing God Wars. It's just, we have to wait and see. So, alternatives are out there. We may have mentioned this one once or twice, so if you know what's coming, thank you. But for your chest piece, we recommend the Fighter's Torso. So I think it's actually called Penance Torso if you're going to look it up.
Penance Fighter's Torso.
Penance Fighter's Torso. It's from the Barbarian Assault mini game. It'd probably take you a couple hours to do if you find some buddies in your Discord.
Please do it
your
with
buddies
friends.
in your clan.
For the love of
do it with
God,
friends.
Do it with friends. Don't do it with randos.
It's a very easy minigame. It's a very, very easy minigame, except
sucks with
not with
strangers.
randos.
Sucks with strangers. It's not like Pest Control, where you run in, do your thing, and get points. You have to be organized.
Yeah.
With strangers. Find friends to do it. Swear to God. People in our Discord will do it with you. Join TNL. People need their torsos in TNL for sure.
After this update, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm rocking the torso. People, like, I thought I was going to wake up today and have monies on monies to then just be able to, in profit from selling my chest plate. But that didn't happen because I'm rocking the torso. I needed money back when I was going for my Bow of Ferdinand. It was a expendable item, so I sold it. So, it's a viable option for even me in the end game to be able to use. And that is because it has the same exact strength bonus as your Bandos chest plate with a marginal difference in defensive bonuses. So like Bandos is just tankier is the best way to explain that. So your torso is still going to give you that max hit. You're just going to maybe need a little bit extra food or take a super defense potion. Use overhead prayers.
Oh my God. I got flamed for taking a super defense potion into Theater of Blood when we did leagues.
Yeah.
Just take a super set. If you're not an Iron Man, just fork over the money and take a super
Oxie,
combat potion. Don't
we're in
take
the mid game.
A super defense potion.
I will advocate for you mid gamers. Super combat potions are expensive. And for the entirety of me doing Slayer up until level 95, I used super attack, super strength, and super defense as my set. Because unless you are hurting for inventory space, it makes zero difference whether or not you take 1 green potion or 3 potions to equal that 1 green potion. Like, that's all you're really getting is more inventory space. And so for me, I couldn't justify what at the time was a $12,000 potion versus spending maybe $3,000 for the superset. So I'll advocate for you mid gamers. Take it super defense.
And I'll advocate for you mid gamers trying to save money. You have overhead prayers for a reason. Theater of Blood, Chambers of Zarek, Gauntlet, which you don't bring potions into, Nightmare. Can't really think of a ton of other bosses that hit through overhead prayers. Dagannoth Kings, sure, you got multiple combat styles. Don't take it into the wilderness, because you have brews for that. That's a big thing that I just went over my head in Leagues too. Yeah. Is brews give a defense bonus. So if you're in a situation where you need a lot of health, a brew is your best bet. At 99
Mhm.
HP, you get 16 times 4. So a lot of healing. Right? You get 64 healing from one brew, as opposed to a manta that gives 22, right?
Right. It's way more per inventory spot.
Yeah, and it gives defensive bonuses. I would advocate to not bring a super defense because my dumbass has brought super defense. My dumbass has wasted an inventory when I could have used another brew for a super defense potion. That's neither here nor there because
Right.
if you're taking a fighter torso somewhere where you're going to get hit through prayer, it's either your first time at Chambers as Eric or you're good enough to handle it.
Right.
Those are the two reasons why that happens. It's your first time at Chambers, or you're just good enough to survive a few extra points of damage.
Yeah, I say bring a super set versus the super combat potion in situations where you're not like doing hardcore bossing. Like I said, if you need the inventory space, take the green potion, take the super combat. But if you're just doing Slayer, if you're just doing laid back content, just save the money.
Which is fair. I realize I've said it for a few weeks now. I'm slowly becoming an elitist. Slowly but surely. I think once I have the cape, it'll be over, and I think will be an elitist. I'll have fully devolved into an elitist PVMer. Nothing
and that's
wrong
where
with
I come
that.
in, Oxie. I'll never have the Inferno cape, so
exactly.
I'll be here.
You'll be my counterbalance for that.
Yeah,
you'll be my counter, and I'll also be the one yeeting you into the gauntlet to get your PVM experience. There's nothing wrong with that, mind you. I'm not roasting on your elitist PVMers. I think it's actually a lot of fun, but I hemorrhage supplies when I do PVM at this point. I did Grotesque Guardians for a while because I got that achievement done too, 250 Grotesque Guardians.
Jesus.
I was using like 6 prayer pots in inventory, 2 brews, 2 restores, a divine super combat, and a divine range potion. And thralls. So I was using blood runes and cosmic runes the whole time. And I had dragon darts in my toxic blowpipe.
Bro. For Grotesque Guardians?
And at one point I brought a Blood Fury. I absolutely hemorrhage supplies when I do PVM at this point. Because I'm going to make more than what I'm spending in supplies almost everywhere I go.
Right.
Not worried about it in the slightest. To Michael's point about saving money, super set is delightful. And if you want to save even more money, just don't take the super defense.
All you really need is a super strength and a super attack. In most cases, those were the only two that I bring on a Slayer task.
Yeah.
I'm in most cases I'm bringing those two because again, Oxie, like I said, you're not going to get hit through prayer. I do some off prayer tasks where I just make like bones to peaches or something, or just bring a little extra food or guthans.
That's what
There's
I'm doing
a lot
right
of different ways to do it.
I'm bringing guthans to Grotesque Guardians to AFK because I forgot I can do normal gargoyles now.
Oh, you said Grotesque Guardians. You're meaning gargoyles.
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. It's all I've done for like a bajillion years is Grotesque Guardians. I forget just regular gargoyles actually exist sometimes.
And they're pretty good money.
They are.
Oh, here's a tip for you mid gamers doing gargoyles. Bring a Ring of Wealth. It'll make the gargoyles task so AFK. Because you can toggle where it picks up the coins for you. So you don't have to click the loot pile if you don't want to, because literally 95% of the drops there are coins. It's so easy, dude.
Am I about to bring a Ring of Wealth imbued at 95 Slayer to go AFK gargoyles? You bet your whole ass.
Yes.
You bet your whole ass I am. I'm elitist, but I'm an elitist who likes to AFK. All right.
So easy. Well, you're bringing guthans, so like, are you really
what am I worried about? Nothing. I got red barred by a Brassian mage earlier. Brassican mage, whatever they're pronounced. It's enough of scuff, dude.
So we have talked about the top, your chest plate. What can we talk about for the legs? Like, what are we replacing the tassets with? So
obsidian plate legs is the move there. Bandos Tacits have roughly high 60s, low 70s defensive bonuses, +1 prayer, and +2 strength. Obsidian Legs have mid 40s defensive bonuses, no prayer bonus, and +1 strength. Which, if you're talking about the reality of RuneScape, which is DPS is king, and DPS is controlled by strength bonus, 1 less strength bonus. So, depending on what you're wearing, you may not even be losing a max hit. Right? Depending on what you're wearing. The setup that Michael and I are suggesting instead of full Bandos costs 660k.
And a little time.
And a little time, and possibly a trip to the hospital because you put your head through your drywall because you did Barbarian Assault with strangers. Don't do it with strangers. Find some friends. We'll do it with you.
Yeah. I think that was on the last time we were doing this. We want to emphasize.
I cannot stress this enough. If you want, it's the most painful thing in the world to organize a group of 5 strangers in RuneScape to quickly and efficiently do a mini game where if somebody doesn't pay attention and dies, you have to start over.
And there's 10 waves. And you have to hope that Jimmy Bobby is going to be able to stay all 10 waves. Or if not, your guys are starting over.
Oh my god, when they leave, I swear to god. Here's the thing. Barbarian Assault is not a hard minigame. I don't want to overemphasize that it's difficult. It's not.
Easy.
It's really not a hard minigame. I promise you it's not a difficult minigame. It's difficult when you have to do it with idiots. That's when it's hard. God, I really am an elitist. Holy shit.
No, you're not an elitist, Oxie. You are not an elitist for thinking that it's just annoying. Like, that's a thing. It's a thing. So, if you're wanting to get your torso, here's what you do. Find the description of this episode. Click the link for TNL. That's our Discord. And post up in the team search channel. I'm sure after today's update, there will be many people out there wanting their torso more now than ever. So
exactly. I have a bit of a potential roadmap for some of you folks out there. This week I have heard so much of I'm saving up for this weapon. And I have Bandos chestplate, Bandos Tacits, Primordial boots. The amount of times I've heard that this week has kind of driven me up a wall. Right? Here's the deal.
You know how much money that is?
Here's the deal. Right? This is me. I'm going into coach mode, right? I teach fencing, right? This is me going into coach mode. Look at me. Okay? If you own 60 or 70 mil worth of armor, and you could have almost the exact same thing for like 800k, sell everything. Right? Here's the deal. Here's what you guys are going to do from now on. Because I've learned from spending time with high-level PVMers, when you want to get better, you don't ask somebody to get better. You tell them, here's what you're going to do. If you got base 75s, anywhere between 15 and 1750 total level, and you have your basics, you have your trifecta, your trident, your whip, your blowpipe, here's what you're going to do. You're going to make sure that you have a fighter torso, obsidian legs, Barrow's gloves, dragon boots, and a dragon defender. Those are the items that you're going to need. If you own a Tacit, BCP, or Primordial boots, and you fit the description of a player that I just described, sell it. Buy a Dragon Hunter Lance. Buy a Bandos Godsword. Buy, I would not buy an ACB, but other people would. ACB is more of a preference thing. Buy
orbital crossbow? Yeah. ACB.
Buy some skills. Buy a bludgeon for crush tasks. Buy something. A big thing you want to focus on spending your money on is Zenyte jewelry. If you don't have Zenyte jewelry, but you have full, like Bandos, you've done something wrong.
Good shout. Yeah.
You have a torture. All right, cool. You have a torture. Where's your anguish? Where's your tormented? Where's your ring of suffering imbued? Those 3 items can help you camp Zulrah. If you have nothing but a blowpipe, a trident, anguish, tormented, and suffering, you could wear monk robes to Zulrah and do fine. You could bring a 2-way monk robe switch to Zulrah. If you have those jewelry pieces, you're cheering. Zenite jewelry, once you buy it, you're never getting rid of it. It's
a permanent unlock.
It is a permanent upgrade. Zenite jewelry is so good. And the amount of people who I've heard that have full bandos but don't have an anguish or don't have it tormented drives me insane. In addition, go ahead.
The anguish is for range, and the tormented is for melee.
The tormented is for magic.
Okay.
The tormented bracelet is for magic.
The tormented bracelet. And then it was what's the melee necklace?
The torture. The torture is the melee. Okay. And then the Ring of Suffering gives defensive bonuses as well as a recoil effect, as well as a prayer bonus. That, which leads into my next point, you can imbue at Nightmare Zone. I used to be that guy. I got a fire cape with a normal archer's ring, not an archer's ring imbued. Because I thought, I don't need to waste my time with that. It's just an archer's ring. It doesn't make that much of a difference. Go to Nightmare Zone and get your shit imbued. You're going to do that tomorrow too. After you sell all your stuff and take your untradeables, you're going to take those untradeables with your obsidian legs and your abyssal whip to Nightmare Zone. And you're going to sit at Nightmare Zone. And you're going to train your stats up. You're going to get those imbues. Everyone's going to say, oh, train through Slayer. Train through Slayer. Slayer sucks ass before you get to level 70. It is slow. It is not very profitable. And sometimes, depending on what task you have, you spend more money than you make, which is not the goal because you're trying to afford weapons, like your Dragon Hunter Lance, for example, or your Dragon Hunter Crossbow, right? Or you're trying to afford skills for a quest like Dragon Slayer 2 that unlocks the Money Dragon, baby. 10 kills at Vorkath gets you a mill. If you don't got the stats for Dragon Slayer 2, buy those. That's tangent, right? You want to focus
That's your roadmap, people.
Nightmare Zone. Get those imbues. Berserker Ring imbued. Archer's Ring imbued. Ring of Suffering imbued. Plus 20 to all defensive styles. And plus 4 prayer bonus. I take that bitch everywhere. My teammates make fun of me because I take the Ring of Suffering into Theater of Blood. And they get mad at me for it. It makes a difference. It makes a difference, right? Once that is done, you have your untradeables, you have your Nezi helm, you have your fire cape, you have your Berserker Ring imbued, you have your Abyssal Whip. Maybe you decided to put a little extra ducats forward, and you have an Abyssal Tentacle, right? Because you got some money to spare, and you figure I can buy a new whip one of these days. You're going to find a team, and you're going to go learn bandos. Now's the time. You're going to go learn bandos. We're actually holding a God Wars Dungeon event tomorrow night, which will be yesterday when this episode comes out, and I'm actually leading a team going to bandos. Like, that's my job, is to be the learner for bandos, or the teacher for bandos. You're going to learn PVM. You're going to start learning mid-game PVM that is going to make you money, because you're not going to be able to afford bandos, baby. You're not going to be able to afford it. And if you don't have bandos, and you're not doing like I told you to do and sell it because you can't afford it to begin with, now it's going to be even harder to afford. Bandos shot up 13 mil in 8 seconds this morning. 13
it doubled in
mil
price.
In seconds. It went from 14 to like 28. Insane. Yep. Doubled in price. It's going to stay high for a while. And you bet your whole ass, come January 5th or January 6th, whenever Nex comes out, it is going to be through the roof. I'm predicting Bandos, day of release, Bandos pieces are going to be 40 mil a pop.
It's insane.
Guarantee it right now. Bandos pieces, day of release, are going to be 40 mil a piece. That's just how it's going to work.
Yeah.
For right now, you're going to go learn Bandos. You're going to go learn Zami because the spear is getting taxed. Or the spear, I think, is getting removed as part of the econ tax. You're going to go learn that. You're going to go watch a guide and fail 1,000,000 times and learn Zulrah with the gear that you have because you just bought all your Zenites. You're going to start learning PVM. Now's the time. Things are getting more expensive and you need money. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get your untradeables.
That's
buy
the reality.
Your skills. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have not done Song of the Elves and you have not done Dragon Slayer 2, prioritize those. The Gauntlet and Zalcano shit out GP. As a mid-game player, Zalcano shits out GP. Oh my god. The Gauntlet is a bit of a learning curve. So if you're not really well versed in PVM, stick to Zelcano. But Vorkath is easy. Once you get Vorkath down, now I know I'm an elitist because I told someone who doesn't know how to do Vorkath. Vorkath is easy, right? It's not going to be easy the first time. No PVM is ever easy the first time. Right. Vorkath is easy to learn.
Yeah.
You're going to die a few times and you're going to spend a couple $100K to get your shit back. But eventually you're going to stop making those mistakes. And you're going to get so good you make different mistakes, like just straight up not paying attention. You're going to be mid-kill and go, oh, that sounds like a fireball attack as you're sending a Snapchat. And then, oh, look, you got killed by a fireball because you weren't paying attention. You are going to sell your expensive armor, not your weapons. You're not going to disassemble your Avernic. You're not going to sell your Dragon Hunter Lance. You're not going to sell your Scam Hammer. You're going to sell your BCP. You're going to sell your Tacits. And you're going to sell your Prim.
I would also argue the face guard is gonna tank. It's gonna plummet.
The face guard's still gonna have AU set chambers, and the face guard doesn't really give negative bonuses. OSRS face guard. The face guard.
You could just as well use a Helm of Nizanat. I'm just saying, an extra 14 mil for something that you could just use the Nezi.
100%, you can. There's really. The defensive bonuses are slightly better. It does offer it offers double the strength bonus, so it's a +6 for the jaw. Okay.
So it could be a max hit, but
so it could. So max hit, I've recently learned. I was listening to the Tryhards podcast. They brought up the point of rule of 4s. So every 4 strength bonus, you get another max hit, which makes sense. So it could add a max hit depending on what gear you're wearing, what your combination is, right? I imagine most of you mid-game players don't have Inferno capes. That's fine. Michael and I don't have Inferno capes either. I watched a Colanello video where a cape seller suggested that like 70% of capes are actually sold and not earned because of how difficult the Inferno is. The Inferno is... I'm not talking about the Inferno today.
It's gross.
Yeah. I'm not... I promise you. Buy Hydra leather. I was one time I was doing skeletal wyverns back when I was just first starting to get into PVM. I had maybe like a 10 mil cash stack, and I was like, "Yeah, we're looking good." And I was talking to my friend Immortal, a friend of the clan. We've brought him up on the show a couple times, and we were just hanging out in VC. And he's like, "What are you wearing?" And I mentioned what I was wearing. He's like, "Why don't you have ferocious gloves?" I said, "Bro, I can't afford a Hydra leather." He said, "What's your cash stack?" I said, 10 mil. He said, "Oxie, teleport out and go buy ferocious gloves right now." I said, "I don't want it. That's so much money." He said, "I don't give a shit. Go buy ferocious gloves right now." Beneficial. Sometimes you have to be pushy. Ferocious gloves, good upgrade. Torture, good upgrade. Everything else is not going to cost a lot of money. Dragon Boots and Primordials have... What's the difference in strength bonus? 1 or 2? OSRS? Prims? Public service? What? That's not what I want to look up. I typed in OSRS wrong. Primordial Boots have a +5 strength bonus. Dragon Boots have a +4 strength bonus. 1 strength bonus.
1 strength bonus difference.
1 strength bonus. 17.8 mil
for 1. Okay, here's the caveat to all of this. A lot of the time, people want this gear because it looks good. It doesn't look good when you're wearing a torso and dragon boots. But we're not talking about fashionscape here, people. We're talking about the difference between, like Oxie said, 70 mil or 800K. It's probably not 70 mil. It's close to. It's like 60 something. Or 800K for your entire strength, best in slot strength. It's like if you're wearing dragon boots, it's okay. Maybe one day
you can buy the dragon boot ornament kit for 27K right now. So you can walk around in style.
Gold trimmed dragon boot. Yeah, baby. If you take one thing away from all of this, It is that it is okay to maybe look less than desirable, but you're going to thank us when your cash stack is at a place where now you're unlocking content. Because before you had your full bandos and your prims, but you couldn't afford a lance. And maybe that's the difference between you completing Vorkath or not. But now you've got that lance, you're killing Vorkath, baby, and you're making money. And now you can do a rebuild. Just look at it a different way.
Exactly.
You're gonna look scruffed, but maybe it's for the best.
And here's the thing: where are you wearing the bandos and prims? Ask yourself that question. I swear, I know it's Michael's laughing because I sound like a dick. I really want you to genuinely think about it. Where are you wearing full bandos? I know you're not going to Theater of Blood. You don't wear any armor in the Gauntlet. You're probably not going to Dagannoth Kings by yourself, right? And you're probably not going to God Wars by yourself either at that point, right? A lot of people in the mid game who I've just described don't even have Edgar's Ruse done, which, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you don't have Edgar's Ruse done, I don't give a shit what you're doing. Go do Edgar's Ruse right this second. You're going to sell all your shit. You're going to do Edgar's Ruse. You're going to get Trollheim teleport, and then you're going to find a team to go to Bandos with you. That's the move. You don't wear it for Slayer because you wear Proselyte.
I was going to say,
bonus.
We're all wearing Proselyte.
You wear it to Sarachnis. That's a good place to wear it. I would argue that Vorkath is significantly easier to learn with Void and a Blowpipe, or it is with Melee, right? I love Melee Vorkath. It's one of the most fun bossing experiences I think there is in the game. Melee Vorkath is so much fun. Without a lance, sucks.
Yeah.
So really, I really want you to think, where are you wearing this Bandos, right? I am wearing my Bandos right now to Gargoyles. This is, I swear to God, Gargoyles is, I think, literally the only task that I wear Bandos to. I don't think there's because I take Guthans and I heal off Guthans. That's honestly the only Slayer task I think I wear it to. Because it's a 4-way switch from my Bandos and into Guthans, right?
Oh, right.
Outside of high-level PVM, I genuinely can't picture where you wear it, right? And not to say that if you have those stats in this gear, you'll never get into high-level PVM. We believe you would. I tell people all the time, if you can get to Chambers of Xeric, I'll take you in literally whatever you're wearing.
Mm-hmm.
We went on a Halloween raid, and I'm pretty certain I wore a steel Warhammer when we were Warhammer specking Ulm, just to troll the boys, because I was dressed as Thor. Like, I didn't... like, I'll take you in any gear to God Wars Dungeon. You have the stats to get there. Chambers of Xeric. Anyone in the Discord can show you Zulrah, Vorkath, Gauntlet, anything, right? You can do that. You don't need all this expensive gear to make it happen. You know? I know it sucks to hear someone say, sell these items you've wanted so bad. You'll get them back. And you'll get them back by selling them and rocking shit on a cheap setup. If you still don't believe me, I have watched our friend Jesse rock the fighter torso and the obsidian legs and the dragon boots at every piece of content in the game. I have watched Scape rock the fighter torso, the obsidian legs, and mole slippers at every piece of content in the game. If he's not wearing Elite Void for Theater of Blood, it's 100%. I've seen him wear those exact two setups.
The man did Fasani's Nightmare
in bronze
G.
Yeah, in bronze G with mole slippers, right? So for reference, my first point, Jesse has on his main account 21 Infernal capes. That's 21 completed capes, not 21 making it to Zuck. So it doesn't reflect your skill set when you're wearing the shittier gear. But on the flip side, it doesn't reflect your skill set when you're wearing the higher end gear. Right? Sell your shit. Get your untradeables. Grind your skills, do your quests, and then start getting into bossing. Start adding people in Discord looking for teams. because people are going to take.
Yep.
Rant over. Time for break.
A time for break. Yep. Yeah. Take this time while you're watching the ad to really
go to the Grand Exchange.
Go to the Grand Exchange and really think about whether or not you want to take our advice. So, guys, we'll see you after the break. Hi there. My name is Farmer Grycaller, and this here's a tithe farm. Now, this here's not your general type of farming that you see around other folks doing. My plants are special. Why? Because they grow real fast. Now, if you're asking me, it is pretty simple. Plant, water, and pick. Now, this isn't all just for fun, no. I've got a little shop that my granddaughter's helped me set up. Okay, well, I do gotta be honest with you. I don't take gold pieces. My shop only accepts points that get awarded by yours truly. You get points each time you bring in a harvest, so I'll be keeping track for you. Now, just to rattle off a couple things that might interest you, I've got an herb sack, a little box to put all your seeds and such, and one of the best outfits. I call it the farmer's outfit. Oh, and I have a service too, where I can send folks out to take care of all your weeds. Woohoo! That one's my favorite. I sure do hate pulling weeds. It hurts my back. Come on down to the tithe farm and give it a try, and I'm sure you'll have some fun. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. I know I sure did. I'm sitting now, for you audio listeners who don't have eyes on me. My back hurts.
I was so hoping you weren't going to say anything.
Ah, dang it.
I love when we don't say anything, because I really hope there's somebody out there going like, why does Michael look so weird?
Why does he look so relaxed? Yeah. And I'm also looking at myself in the camera. I'm going to stop doing that. Okay. Hello, camera. Doesn't matter for you audio listeners. I said this in the episode we didn't air, but we understand as a show that not everybody watches this show. So in effort to not make it weird, I guess, maybe we'll stop making it so visually heavy. Visuals heavy. I don't know.
But we're so visually appealing, darling. How do we not make it visually heavy?
Yes. Our YouTube channel is nearing 200 subscribers, so that's pretty pog.
Literally double what Michael and I's individual channels are, which is probably for the best, because Michael and I did not make good individual YouTube content.
4 times what my individual is. No, I'm at 70. Yeah,
I meant combined.
Oh, combined.
Like it's almost double than what we have combined.
Yes.
People have subscribed from XP Waste. Nothing is funnier to me that when people subscribe from XP Waste and watch like my giant mole video from like 2 years ago, and they're like, is this a good setup for giant mole? I'm like, stop watching those videos. I didn't have any RuneScape friends who taught me how to do any of this shit. I just liked watching YouTube guides and was like, oh, I could easily do that. That's not hard at all.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't take that advice. Please don't watch this video. The Crazy Archaeologist one is pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Barrows one is okay. Don't do the Giant Mole one. The Giant Mole one is bad.
It's outdated.
No, it's just bad.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem.
I'm going to go watch it.
It's just bad. I don't even mention a Dragon Defender.
It's no.
Bad.
Isn't it a poor man's guide?
It's a poor man's guide to bossing.
Yeah, so like
a Dragon Defender is free.
It's free.
It's bad. It's bad.
Well, X-Racers, besides all that, it is time to thank our lovely patrons who support us each and every month to do what we do on this show. I promise you, your money is going somewhere. It's not just going into our bank accounts.
That sounds super cryptic.
No, I mean,
your money is going somewhere.
I will admit, we have not been as on top of things as we should have when it comes to the things that we've promised with the money that we're receiving. So our big goals are get a new logo, have somebody help us make an intro, and then generally just improve the show. So none of that has happened yet. We are procrastinating, but
Well, some of it's happened. The postcards that we sent out, that was all from Patreon money. We paid for those with Patreon subscription money.
That's very true.
You paid for your own postcards if you did that, pretty much. So like,
but they're beautiful.
Yeah, like money has gone towards the show and the audience and things like that.
Yes,
just not what we've wanted it to be right now. But then again, Michael and I are recording at 12:33 on a Tuesday morning. Right now, 12:30 a.m.
Yes.
Because our schedules have not been in line.
Right.
We've had like 5-minute phone calls once every week to talk about the show and then record the show.
Remember how I said I'm solo dadding this week? Yeah, that's happening. I thought I was going to have so much time to be able to play RuneScape, work on the show stuff, look up people on Fiverr for cool things. But anyway, I say all that to say thank you so much for continuing to support the show. We're going to shout out everyone in our Wise Old Man and KBD tiers because that is a wonderful benefit that you receive each and every episode. So big thank you to Scape Caution, Ballimer, Benjamin R, Hydraulic Monkey, I Swallow, Jake W, Jordy, Macrotinka Jones, and Pooper Cheeks. Those are all of our Wise Old Man tier. Moving on to the KBD. Thank you so much, KBD tier. We love you. Thank you to Oxie's dad, Cookies and MILF, Evan B, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, P Joint, and Ryan H, aka Akuna. Big shout out to P Joint. This guy, and hello P Joint, he messaged me in game first and just said, "Hey, I love the show." Then I get a notification on my phone. P Joint has joined the Patreon, and then like 2 days ago, just joined the Discord. So without even joining the Discord, getting a part of the community, all that, just instantly Patreon. Thank you so much. Big shout out to you.
This is why Michael's the guy to talk to because, again, private chat's turned off. You're not sending me any messages. But
I'm not asking for spam in my RuneScape DMs, but my private chat is set to everyone. And if you can if you can find what my username is, more power to you, because I'm not saying it out loud. So if you can find it, message me. Oxie, I'm going to edit it out. I'm going to edit it out.
Hey, XP wasters, read my mind. I want you all, look me in the eyes. I want you all to DM Michael in-game this week and ask him if he has 99 mining yet.
No! In-game or in Discord?
In-game specifically.
I'll be at Motherload Mine, so you'll get an answer.
Spammed. Oh, man.
You guys have been rightfully spamming Oxie about the Inferno, and I think you need to cool your jets a little bit.
I don't think you need to cool your jets. If you cool your jets, I'm going to cool my jets. I need to get back in the Inferno. I literally sent to run earlier. It was so bad. I had like a brew and a half going into wave 31. Wave 31's a hard wave. Wave 31 is the Ranger, Meleeer, double blob. Wave 31's a hard wave. But oh my god, that was so bad. It was just such a bad. I lost a pillar like on wave 25. Like it was bad,
Oxie.
Dude. It was such a bad run. I need more. Keep pushing me into the Inferno, even if I'm having a shit day with it.
You heard the man.
Don't spam me with it, for the love of God.
Right. If you've already said it in Discord, like we asked last episode, if you've already said it, don't say it again. But if you've not asked Oxie how the Inferno grind is going, add Oxie in the XP Waste chat in our Discord and ask him how it's going.
Yeah, because
And don't ask me about mining. Like Oxie just said, you can ask me about mining, whatever. I'm going to give you the answer I give everyone. Not yet. I have a proposition for you, Oxie. We talked about this briefly in the car when you were heading home.
Yeah.
But I did want to bring it up in the episode just so that we can make it actually happen. So we talked about last month, whenever we were talking about what we could be doing for Patreon and for the holidays, we talked about Christmas cards. And so more specifically, ugly Christmas sweater Christmas cards. So we want to make that a reality. And I think we can actually do it quite easily and actually have it to you before Christmas Day. So what I'm proposing is every single person who subscribes to this Patreon at any tier in the month of November will receive a Christmas card from Oxie and I. All you have to do is, again, subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/xpwaste at any tier. That can mean $1, $5, $10, $25. And message us on Patreon your address that you want us to send the card to. Patreon will sometimes collect your addresses for special events.
Whoa, I thought we talked about e-cards because we mentioned how it's difficult to get postcards out because we have to ship them from one place to another.
No. Oxie, Alicia looked it up. They have services that will mail the card for you. All you have to do is enter the address.
Oh, shit. That'd be so nice.
And it's all digital.
That'd be so nice. That wasn't scripted, by the way. That wasn't a scripted exchange. I genuinely was concerned because that was the one thing I said to Michael. I'm like, this is fun. And I like writing postcards. It's very like, it felt good to write all the postcards to people because like, I gotta level with you. I don't know some of your guys' first names. So I could talk to you every single day. If the postcard was addressed to your first name and I don't know it, may have been tough. But I had so much fun writing all of them to everyone. So much fun.
Yeah. You guys should be receiving them this week.
It took me like 3 weeks to find time to write them. I remember how weeks ago I said, "Oh, they'll be in the mail by Friday." I don't even think I took them out of the package till like 2 weeks ago.
It's okay. Busy. We're busy.
That's the thing. God, Lord, we are busy. So, yeah, online sounds perfect. I love that plan.
Send us your address on Patreon if you want to receive a holiday card from us. All we need is, you don't have to give us your first name, last name. We can put whatever in the name slot. We just need the address to send it to.
Unless you're international.
Promise?
International.
Unless you're international. Yeah. I don't know if we can do international.
U.S. Postal Service is real picky when it comes to international. So you may need to do first and last name only if you live outside of the U.S.
Okay, yeah. Yes. First and last name if you're outside of the U.S. And we're going to TBD on if we can send it internationally via the website. We'll figure that out. But anybody who subscribes to our Patreon in the month of November will receive a card.
Yeah.
And it's going to be cute. I've already got it envisioned. I'm not going to spoil anything because I want you to see it when you open it, when you get it in the mail.
Which is great for me because I also don't have it envisioned. So I'm curious to see what Michael has in mind. Michael, it's fun question time. We've talked way too much about people paying us to talk about RuneScape. Like we gotta give them the content they so generously pay for.
Yes. What is Michael, the fun question this week, Oxie?
Fun question this week. We talked, before I started bullying all the mid-game players, we talked about item sinks and taxes and a lot of economic stuff. So a question for you, and this is I think this is going to be fun. I actually did tell Michael this question before the episode because it's probably going to merit a little bit more thought.
Mm-hmm.
If you could implement any singular item sink into the game, whether totally brand new or suggested in passing by anyone, JMods, other players, Reddit posts, whatever. If you could implement any item sync tomorrow, what would it be and why? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I can go first.
Hit me with it.
So,
what you got?
I recently watched the fun little segment they had with Mod Ash. And they talked about potential, other item sinks besides the ones that they've talked about. They have the gold sink, the literal gold sink that you can put in your POH.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about that. They talked about the GE removing those items for you. They also mentioned the fact that it could be anything. And Modash said, well, what if there was this dragon that suddenly just put up shop, near the GE because he heard there's a lot of gold and you can go over there and like add to the dragon's gold pile and like get some sort of, high scores or some sort of little untradeable reward for how much gold you've donated to this dragon. And that just opened the door of possibilities for the ability to have anything be an item sink. Not even a gold sink. Like you could sacrifice your Scythe of Vitor to this dragon and he would add it to his hoard. So there's a lot of things that could be. I just think that would be a lot of fun. Something silly, like there's a dwarf asking for dragon pickaxes or something, and it's on a rotation of this certain NPC thematically, but a certain NPC is asking for the item of the week. And if you give so many of those, it could be something, an untradeable reward, or your name goes on a high score. Because people like to see their names out in the world. It could be a global broadcast, like Oxie has given 10,000 dragon pickaxes to the dwarf, and it could be a broadcast. I don't want you to do the math. It was just a number. It's a lot of money.
That's 30 bill worth of dragon
Oxie,
pickaxes.
You're so rich, bro.
Okay, I think that would be fun as hell. The implement, so don't get me wrong, it glorifies the wealth gap within the game for sure. But the idea of hey, almost like I'm picturing Yak Tracky. Hey, this week you donate dragon pickaxes to Dwarfy the Dwarf. And if you donate one dragon pickaxe, you get an untradeable hat. Or you get a ticket. Or it's every dragon pickaxe, you get a certain number of tickets. And then you use the tickets, which are untradeable, to buy untradeable cosmetics. Or perhaps it'll be you'll get Saki, the bag of gold pet, or something. I don't know, with 5,000 tickets.
Yeah.
That could be so much fun, dude. That would be awesome. Possibilities are endless.
And it would target certain items that obviously they could just remove from the game via the tax that they're wanting to do, but it also could be fun. It could be something that the community gets around. And I think dragon pickaxes, I know that we just threw that one out there, but it probably could do for a nice item sink. It already kind of has one with the smoldering stone, but I don't think many people use the dragon pick whenever you're recharging your infernal pickaxe. I think they use the smoldering stone because it's cheaper.
I would find that not a lot of people use an infernal pickaxe. Unless you're trying to free tick super efficiently. I would imagine a crystal pickaxe is the go-to for most people.
Yeah.
The go-to for me. I don't have an infernal pickaxe.
Yep. Unless you're mining and dropping. You're right. It's a crystal pickaxe.
Yeah, which is why I'm so appalled at the idea of three ticking, because I only have a crystal pickaxe, and that would suck. It sucks to power mine with a crystal pick. It's rough.
You shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't.
Don't do it
unless it's uncharged. Please don't. Don't power mine anything.
Yeah, This is not my smartest decision to power mine iron with a crystal pickaxe.
Imagine going 5 hours wasting 20,000 charges on iron ore.
So stupid, dude.
That you're
it wouldn't
already
surprise
getting
me
instantly.
that that's something that I would do, but that's so dumb. I would love that so much. Which kind of leads to another point. We talked about the shop, which is totally unrelated to the fun question. As long as it's not tied to microtransactions, this is going to be possibly the most unpopular opinion I've had on the show all day. As long as it's not tied to microtransactions and everything is untradeable, I friggin' love the idea of a cosmetic shop. I love the idea of a cosmetic shop. I would be okay. This is how far I would go. I would be okay with buyable pets in certain scenarios.
Oof. Okay.
No, buyable pets specific to that shop. You could not buy the little Zik pet. You could not buy the Hunlip.
Yeah.
But
would they show up on the collection log? Would they be part of
it might not carry the same weight, obviously, as a pet you have to earn, of course, but like to put, imagine it's like Castle Wars tickets. You put 5,000 Castle Wars tickets in, you get an actual castle as a pet that like follows you around one tile at a time. I don't know. I personally like the idea. It's not the answer to my fun question, but I really like the idea of old school RuneScape taking on sponsorships. And hear me out. Literally, people they're like sharpening their pitchforks. Hold on.
Yeah, but
hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm listening.
Old school RuneScape takes on sponsorships, right? They get sponsored by Twitch, they get sponsored by Mountain Dew, they get sponsored by, Yorkshire Tea or something like that. And there is now a sponsor shop in game where you can use in-game gold to buy items related to the sponsor.
Yes.
So it's not microtransaction. It's not MTX cosmetics. Don't get me wrong. MTX cosmetics are the way of the future. They are the way games make money.
Right.
Right. But they don't belong in old school RuneScape by with that respect. That said, a Crystal Crown type cosmetic sounds awesome. You know how cool it would be to have a Yorkshire Tea armor set and you just look like a big tea bag running around, but it costs 250K and it's purely cosmetic. Like, that's just fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything to negatively affect the game.
Right.
It's Fashionscape that works as a gold sink.
More Fashionscape.
You can literally never have too much Fashionscape. And especially with the bank upgrades coming, all the room for Fashionscape in the world. But my actual sink that I think would be good, that was just totally a tangent that I got off on there. I apologize. I love the idea of adding items to the clan hall to make it look cooler. I think they talked about that in weeks past. I think it was like Sween and Aiza talked about that. In Skyrim, you can expand your house. You can like buy a POH and you can expand it. And to put things in it, to put decorations or to put items or trophies, you need to have certain pieces. In Skyrim, things are a bit easier to obtain than in old school RuneScape. Dragon bones are easier to come by than a twisted bow, for example. But I think that sort of like addition, like let's say you spend 10 million clan GP to purchase an armor hall that is attached to the clan hall, but it's just empty. There's just armor sets and weapon racks, but they're all empty, right? And as a clan, you need to donate a certain number of weapons. You need to put a certain number of Garazi rapiers, a certain number of abyssal bludgeons, a certain number of toxic blowpipes to get like the weapon stands good to go.
Oh, wow.
And then I also thought, what if within the clan system or within the clan hall, you expand upon the boss lair displays from a player-owned house? So with the boss lair displays, right, you have to put a jar into this display case, and then it gives like a really cool like mini image of the boss. I really like jars are a troll drop for sure, but I really like the boss lair display case. What if you had a boss lair like theater or a boss lair exhibition or a boss lair gallery in the player-owned house?
Wow. Yeah.
And you made it so like, all right, you spend 10 million GP to make this boss lair gallery in your house or in your clan hall, right? This comes out of clan coffer GP, so everyone can contribute, and everyone can contribute as well. But once you put the GP in the items, you can never get it back, right? Let's say you want to make the Chambers of Zarek gallery. You need to add a twisted bow, 3 full sets of ancestral, 2 dragon claws, a Kodai, an elder maul, 2 dragon hunter crossbows, 2 twisted bucklers, 10 dexes, and 10 arcanes.
Wow.
And then 5 Din's bulwark or whatever. I don't know what else comes from Chambers at that point. You put all these items in there. You spend all these hundreds of mils to put all these items in there, and you get a fucking awesome boss room display that you and your clanmates can walk through.
Yeah.
That will have like, you remember the old Call of Duty games, how they used to have like displays for the missions like in Modern Warfare? and in Modern Warfare 2, you could walk through, and it was like a bonus level. You like activated a certain number of buttons that'll come to life and shoot you. But it was like live.
I don't think I ever played Call of Duty.
I'm envisioning like a 5-man Chambers team, right? And they're all fighting the Great Olm, but they're like still. It's like a boss lair.
Oh wow!
So you've got a few people, you've got a few people over here casting at the mage hand. You've got one person running from one side to the other because they're a tick late, running to go like run the head. You got the person camping the mage hand, and you've got the person with the Dragon Hunter lance attacking the melee hand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it can be that it changes every day. That it's all the same stuff and it's all the same rotation, but sometimes it changes. Or you can orient it in different ways. You know, maybe the raid is over and Olm's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a purple light in the chest at the end. Maybe Olm's head turns left and right. You know?
That'd be cool.
Maybe there's a dynamic
crystals.
Yeah, I was just saying maybe there's a dynamic effect where you can see crystals falling. They don't hurt anybody. That would be such a cool upgrade to the POH. And that's that's just for Chambers of Zarek. Think about what you could do with Nightmare or Theater of Blood or God Wars. Anything that requires like group content. And you can make like a boss layer gallery that kind of, because in a way, like that would be super cool. Like, hey guys, this is us. Like this is us doing that activity. You know, I don't want to say you go as far as to like customize the people inside it because that's a bit too much. But like, I don't know. I feel like it would elicit a lot of good, fun memories for people. I think that would be a lot of fun. That'd be my ideal item sync.
It would make the clan hall more usable. Like right now, there's a bank, and that's about it.
I love the clan hall, but it definitely has room for expansion. I'm not shitting on the clan hall. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Period. As it is. But I definitely think it could use a little bit more to it, a little bit more oomph, you know?
Like a party room. They've talked about like the potential for a party room where you have your own little lever and the balloons come down. Like there's just a lot in the clan hall that I think has potential, but it's not a priority. Like what dev is going to say, you know what? 2 months of my time. Yeah, party room. Let's do it. When they've got Nex, they've got Raids 3, they've got a bunch of stuff that they want to get in the game to further the game, but like I wish they would have, and hear me out, delayed the clans update a little bit and just gave us a little more in the clan hall than just a bank and a cat we can pet. Like just a little more, like those something.
Pretty awesome. I think they're pretty awesome as
I'm kind of still peeved that the clan coffer is still only 1 mil. Like it has been what, 2 months, and we still only can put 1 mil. It's unusable.
I swear to God, clans definitely came out in May.
Okay, it's been more than 2 months, 3 months, whatever. It's still only 1 mil. Jagex, we have tens of millions of GP in a prize pool that we have to put in platinum tokens when we have a clan coffer that could perfectly hold that for us. Please. It'd make events so much easier.
Michael's spoiled little bitch rant aside, I do agree. The clan hall could use some TLC. I love it. I love our clan hall. I think it's so much fun. We held the trivia night there on Halloween. It was a blast.
Everybody, it was so cool because like there were teams of 6 and there's 6 seats at each table. And so each team had their own table, and it was like we all were doing trivia together.
You want a complaint? You want something I think Jagex needs to do? Add another friggin' table to the clan hall.
One more table?
Add one more table. Add another room with more tables in it, so when people show up, people are awkwardly standing around. Because when we made our clan, we had 7 people. We have 136 now. We need more. Jagex, we need more chairs. Like expand as you will, but like, can we put some folding chairs on this?
You know what would be sick?
Like a youth group event. There's folding chairs that you make the gnome child ranks go out and pick up, and fucking like put along the side of the room.
Oh my gosh! You know what would be really cool if you could have, and this would be instanced, but it would be like a teleport room within the clan hall, and it would teleport you to a clan coliseum where you could hold 1v1, you could hold mini clan wars, but it would have like hundreds of seats in a coliseum style like big building. That would be sick. Cuz you're right. I think the max is what, 500 for a clan? Am I right in thinking? I can't remember how many the max is, but
Michael, I'm about to blow your mind.
What?
Go home. Hit your house teleport.
Oh wait, I have to log in?
Hit your house teleport.
Okay.
Go to your achievement diary. Left click your ornate jewelry box.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit the number 3.
The Dill Arena?
Nope.
Oh, hold on. Well, log into a different account here, people. We're doing it live. All right. You said jewelry box?
Yep. Go to your ornate jewelry box and just hit the number 3 on your keyboard.
3. Will you take me into the wildy?
All right. You're literally at Clan Wars. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Oh my gosh. No. I mean, like, yes, they have Clan Wars in the game, Oxie. But I'm talking like if you wanted.
What you mean. I'm just trolling you.
You're so funny. Anyway,
I think I'm pretty funny. Somebody out there appreciated that joke.
I edited out this whole sequence of me logging into the game, going to my jewelry box.
Fun fact: it takes
so
Michael
much wasted
7.
time.
It takes Michael 7 minutes to log into his main account.
Gosh. Thank you, Oxie. Anyway, back to the mining guild. Yes, it's like a deviation from the fun question, but it could. I mean, the clan hall alone, you're right, could offer so many item sinks. I mean, granted, there's not that many clans out there that might drop a twisted bow just to have an entire Chambers of Xerix like exhibit, but it's bound to happen. At least twice. Yeah. I don't know that our clan would do it. Maybe.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? A small clan like ours with enough people who are like, hey guys, like, mini goal, like, let's make a gallery. Let's make a Chambers of Xerix. Let's make a Theater of Blood gallery.
Yeah.
Because that would look really awesome. I imagine people would try their best to contribute. We'd be like, here's the deal. You don't ever have to contribute. Like, it's probably going to be like a Silver Key and up are going to do the most of the contributing because, like, we're the ones who want this to be a thing.
Yeah.
But, like, literally just today for the God Wars event that's going to happen tomorrow, but also happened yesterday when it comes out, somebody messaged and is like, hey, can I put forward money for supplies? And we're talking about it in the mod chat. We're like, how? Like, what are we going to do with the supply money? And we're still not sure on Monday how we're going to distribute it. So, damn it, Hoskis, we're working on what your 4 mil is going to go towards.
I guess we figured it out by now.
We figured it out by now, thankfully. But as far as right now, while we're recording, we're still working on a solution. We appreciate it, but like, stick that like a clan coffer that was larger. That would be sick.
Yeah,
you know, put the 4 mil towards the.
Oh, I want a clan coffer that can hold like 100 mil, please. More than that. Like, give us a 500 mil.
Coffer,
max cash.
That takes a max cash claim.
2.147 bill.
Oh my god.
Please.
Michael, right. I think it's time to wrap this show up.
We have a question that's going to be up in our community section for this week. And that question is, will you be trying Nex when it first comes out? Are you going to be a billionaire? That's the question. You can respond to it on Spotify. It's at the bottom of the episode, I think. And for the first time ever, it's going to be on YouTube. So YouTube, you're not left out on this one. If you don't care to go to Spotify, you can check the pinned comment on this episode and just hit reply and answer the question there. And next episode, we will likely read the question. We'll read the answers to that question. But like I said, will you be trying Nex the day of release? I know I will try it. Whether or not we're going to complete it, That's to be determined.
I know I sure will.
I know I sure will. XP Wasters, it has been a pleasure. I thank you so much for all your support each and every week. Sorry for what happened last week. We'll try not to do that again. EQing is hard, but if you are still with us this far in the episode, thank you. Check out the description of the episode for everything that you could ever want as far as links. We have Patreon, patreon.com/xpwaste. Join the TNL Discord. And for fun, subscribe to Oxie on YouTube and watch his mole guide.
Please don't.
Like that video so that it gets pushed through the algorithm.
Stop telling these people what to do because they do it religiously. Stop. Do not watch the mole video. It's not good. It's not good advice. Oh my god. XP Wasters, we love you guys so much. We'll see you next week, okay?